sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Jumpstart your summer to the max. Walk into any Max Tan in Lincoln and get a $5 standing tan session or a $5 red light wellness booth session. Your summer tan starts today with $5 sessions at Max Tan with 3 Lincoln locations.
Make plans to join 93.7 The Ticket and the Amon Green Foundation for the first annual Nebraska Esports Golf Tournament on Monday, June 9th at Wilderness Ridge. It's a 4-man scramble starting at 11 a.m. that will feature former Husker greats like Amon Green, Johnny Rogers, Niles Paul, Tony Davis, Adam Carricker, Vershawn Jackson, and more, with great prizes and great golf. Sponsorships are also available. Call or text us at 402-464-5685 with questions, or sign your team up online at theticketfm.com. Registration goes through May 30th.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs, from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes? That's 33.33333% of adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's boss, or me, my favorite sister, or my other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic book club. Wait, the 1 in 3 could be me, my karaoke partner Carol, or my karaoke enemy Jeff. I'm going to take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
There's no better way to spark a child's imagination than to get lost in the adventure of a good book. I'm Jenny Benson, president of NSEA. Working together, parents and teachers can help every child succeed. You can help by reading to your child and let your child read to you. Encourage reading in your home and make it a priority. Make reading fun and a time that you and your child look forward to spending together.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association in the station.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza, the big one, all the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend. Early break.
One-handed, behind the back, over the shoulder. Oh, yeah.
They're peacocking out there.
Eyes closed like that. High stepping, high knees.
That guy doing it.
High knees. I saw a guy doing a karaoke down the sidewalk. Guys, it's incredible.
Using it as a microphone.
Yeah. I can do anything. Flip it over, sing into it. Then there's me. I'm like,
with Steve Sipple, Jake Sorensen, and Bill Bush from 6 to 9 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
There's no better way to spark a child's imagination than to get lost in the adventure of a good book. I'm Jenny Benson, president of NSEA. Working together, parents and teachers can help every child succeed. You can help by reading to your child and let your child read to you. Encourage reading in your home and make it a priority. Make reading fun and a time that you and your child look forward to spending together.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
In Nebraska, we show up when friends need help. We check in on our neighbors. That's why it's important to know the warning signs of suicide. If you have a friend or neighbor who's withdrawn, stressed, agitated, or talks about suicide, find out how you can help. Call, text, or chat 988 for 24/7 support. You have the power to save a life. Paid for by the University of Nebraska Public Policy Center. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is how we do every day. We be grinding, and if you wanna come and text us,
if you love them enough to turn off your music and pretend like their music is your music.
This is Mommy's jam.
Then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Let's play it again.
Check today at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Play ball!
Pitch the perfect idea for a family outing or date night with tickets to the next Salt Dogs game. Nothing says summer fun like an action-packed evening at Haymarket Park. Come root for the home team with a hot dog and a cold drink. Plus, visit saltdogs.com to learn about special events and promotions, including group discounts. Don't miss out on the thrill and excitement of a Salt Dogs win. Visit saltdogs.com to reserve your tickets today.
Sometimes I just cannot believe all the storms we've gone through here. I can only hope that we'll be able to leave this house to you one day, baby. You're our legacy.
Planning for these disasters will make sure we're safe, and is the best way to protect that legacy.
Protect your legacy. Visit ready.gov/plan for the tools and tips you need to start your emergency preparedness plan today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
I think it's just vapor. Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
One vape pod has as much nicotine as one pack of cigarettes.
My kid
knows it's dangerous.
5.4 million American kids vape, and most think it's harmless. Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org. That's talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
The goal for those coming on the road, let's go get that first. And then here's what'll happen. There'll be you'll kind of be lackadaisical. Instead of keeping that energy, why not instead of keeping that energy, you'll probably see just a little bit more ease of play. Because in the psyche, we did what we came to do.
Every weekday from 3 to 5 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them?
By their clothes,
their age,
the way they speak.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 Food Bank Strong, and the Ad Council.
Tune in every Wednesday night from 6 to 7 p.m. as Lincoln Lighthouse's Executive Director Bill Mitchner educates listeners on the history of Lighthouse, their mission, and how you can get involved in shaping today's youth into tomorrow's adults. Every Wednesday night from 6 to 7 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids. First, I hold my hands out like they're on a steering wheel. Then I look over my shoulder. Next, I put it in reverse. Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
My early Alzheimer's diagnosis was hard to take, but it gave my mom and me more time to plan together.
Talk to your family about seeing a doctor. Go to alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Welcome to the 2025 NSAA State Baseball Tournament on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. State baseball broadcasts are powered by Game Day Men's Health, Max Tan, Doane University, Raising Cane's, and the NDOT Highway Safety Office. Now, calling all the action, here's Nick Sainert and Austin Orman.
Welcome in to Championship Friday here at Warner Park. 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick Sainert alongside Austin Norman as we are ready to crown 3 state champions in high school baseball action here at Warner Park on a Friday. First up, it's going to be Class C. Class B will commence around 3:30 p.m. and then 7 p.m. the nightcap. It'll be the Class A state championship game between Lincoln East and the Miller North Mustangs. But first, we got to crown a Class C winner between the Malcolm Clippers and the Central City Centura Colonels. And Austin Norman, this is going to be a good one. There's a mix of some important names, but then there's a lot of guys that just love to play baseball and are very, very good at their specific roles.
That there is, Nick, and these are two teams that are no strangers to this stage necessarily, right? Central City Centura has just now bounced down to Class C, probably a better fit for them, but they made the Class B state tournament in 21 and 22. They were at state in 2023 as well, led by a Creighton commit in Jacob Rule. On the flip side, here's Malcolm. We had Class C baseball before, back in the 40s, 50s, 60s, went away for a long time, came back 2 seasons ago, and now, Nick, we've only had one champion since Class C baseball resumed. That's Malcolm, a powerhouse of a program down there at that level. Going to be a fantastic day. Plenty of college talent in this game even. I know that's been a theme of our Class B and Class A games, but even down here at the Class C level, it just goes to show you the depth of talent in the state of Nebraska. Wherever you go, you're going to see a guy who's probably going to the next level, a testament to them, their coaches, and just the state of baseball in the state.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I think when you look at this Malcolm Clipper team, 24-2 on the campaign, and one of their 2 losses on the season came to Central City Centura by the score of 8-4 just a couple of weeks ago. But we're going to see a really, really talented player, not only on the mound, but in this Malcolm lineup, in Mason Wisniewski. Wisniewski, a senior pitcher and third baseman. I mentioned he's getting the start on the mound today. On the season, hitting over 500, a 520 batting average, 39 hits coming into the state tournaments in 75 at-bats. He also had 42 runs driven in with his 4 long balls. But then on the mound, where we're going to see him today against a really good Central City team, like we talked about, led by Jake Rule, he's 5-0 with a 0.36 earned run average.
He's incredible. He's a senior in his final chance here at state, won a couple state tournaments already, and the only place he's going is Hutch. Really good junior college program, so great chance for him to show out on the big stage. Obviously, he's the headliner. You think of a guy like Carson Frank heading to Concordia in the middle of that order. Garrett England has been really good for them all year as well. Really curious to see, though, Nick. Last year, Malcolm was the beneficiary of a crucial error by the left fielder for Elkhorn Mount Michael. We walked in pretty much just in time to see that last year. And Malcolm hasn't been dominant in the state tournament. Their record is really, really good on the year, like you said, 24-2 entering the state tournament. But here in Omaha, they've won 4-3, 2-1, and 5-4. So they've gotten good at walking that tightrope. We'll see if the number 1 seed can put their stamp on a season with an impressive victory, whether it's a blowout, or can they walk that tightrope again and show off good, clean, fundamental baseball?
Central City Centura going for their first state title in school history as a co-op. As Austin mentioned, they dropped down from B to C. They're a fresh new co-op and obviously trying to get their first state championship as the co-op of Central City and Centura. We know about Jacob Rule, the future Creighton Blue Jays hitter. He's hitting 365 on the year, plays shortstop, and that's where he's going to get the start today. But on the mound for the Colonels, it's going to be number 23, a junior pitcher in Connor Erickson. Erickson on the year. We talked about how good Wisniewski is on the mound for Malcolm, and Erickson for the Colonels of Central City Centura. Pretty similar statistics, maybe a little bit of a worse ERA statistically, but still really good. A 5-0 record on the year with a 1.75 earned run average. It's certainly you're grasping at straws to figure out the differences and which one might be quote unquote worse and which one might be better, because man, this is going to be an evenly matched ball game, and we're expecting all 3 of these games today to be really, really good.
I would expect nothing less. None of these matchups surprise us, I guess, is what I'm going to cut to the chase and just say. You get 1 and 2 here in this bracket. And for Central City, 21-1 on the year coming into state. They beat St. Paul Palmer a couple times. That's a state tournament team. Beat Fort Calhoun. That's a state tournament team. Obviously, you mentioned the win over these very Malcolm Clippers. They beat Wayne. They beat Lincoln Christian. This is a battle-tested team sometimes, Nick, you think about, in football or even basketball, oh, you're way out west. Who are you playing? What's the strength of schedule? None of those concerns for Central City for me. So really excited to see as we have a ceremonial first pitch going on down there on the field. I don't think you could have scripted it any better for the state of Class C baseball right here to have these two teams going at it with the title on the line.
Yeah, it's fascinating. Central City Centura, it's their second season of being a co-op program, and those two schools, 40 minutes apart, but head coach Brandon Detlefson doesn't say that you can notice, and there's a notable difference between guys that go to one of them and the guys that go to the other school, and that's a really, really important piece, the bonding, the meshing, and the togetherness of Central City Centura, and obviously here in the second season of being a co-op, trying to get their first state title here at Warner Park. The path for both of these teams, Central City Centura beat St. Paul in the first round, then they beat Fort Calhoun, like you mentioned, to get here. Malcolm beat Mount Michael Benedictine in the first round and then defeated Wayne and Adams Central en route here to the championship matchup. It'll be game 1 of 3 for us here on 93.7 The Ticket today. Game 1, obviously, between Central City Centura and Malcolm. Then around 3:30, in somewhat shocking fashion, both of the teams that are in the Class B title game knocked off the team that was 2-0 twice. They had to beat them twice to get here, and both teams did it. Gretna East beat Skutt Catholic, top-seeded Skutt Catholic, 2 times by the same score, 3-2. One of those games went 15 innings. But then Bennington beat Gross Catholic 2 times, and they ended up beating them by 10 runs in the final game of the semifinals, 11-1. So that's your Class B matchup, Gretna East and Bennington. And then Class A tonight between Lincoln East and Miller North is sure to be a doozy here at Warner Park. So once again, Nick Sainert, Austin Norman, Harrison Arns back in our 93.7 The Ticket studios as we get ready for Central City Centura and the Malcolm Clippers. Malcolm will be the visitors on the scoreboard since Central City is the number 1 team in Class C. And as we mentioned, we're going to get to see Connor Erickson, the left-handed hurler, on the mound first for Central City Centura.
He's a lefty, plays first base as well as pitching. You gave the stats before. I want to throw this out there. When we say colonels, you might be thinking COLONELS, the military rank. But no, this is Nebraska. This is like KERNELS as in corn kernels. I kind of love that.
There is a minor league team out in Cedar Rapids, the Cedar Rapids Colonels, which I believe they are still the single A affiliate of the Minnesota Twins. We might have to fact check me on that one, but I believe that they used to be
indeed
the single A affiliate of the Minnesota Twins.
Still are.
All right. The Cedar Rapids Colonels. I think 4.5, 5 hours away from the city of Lincoln, Cedar Rapids.
Yeah, I believe it.
Around that time,
somewhere in there.
It's a big day on the diamond for a lot of local flavor. Obviously, state championships going on here at Warner Park, and then tonight, a lot of Husker fans, their eyeballs will be tuned into either Knoxville or up here in Omaha at the Big Ten baseball tournament, or both, or all three, I should say, as Husker softball gets ready to play in a super regional for the first time, trying to get back to Omaha for the Women's College World Series for the first time since 2013, while Husker baseball trying to get to a regional, and they need to beat the Oregon Ducks tonight to stay alive. We're ready to go as stepping into the box for the Malcolm Clippers first. It'll be number 2, Logan McGreer. McGreer, a senior outfielder, gets the start in center today. He'll hit from the left side against the lefty arm of Connor Erickson for Central City. On the year, a .457 hitter, 2 long balls, 19 runs driven in. We are ready to go here in the Class C state title game. Nick Sainert, Austin Norman, glad you could be with us as the first pitch of the game is outside for a ball, 1-0 here, and your first pitch time is 12:13 on the dot. So the 1-0 offering from Erickson to McGreer is going to be just a tad outside the zone and low, 2-0 quickly. We see, and we've seen all week, I should say, just how important it is for the pitchers on the mound, no matter who you're facing off, no matter who's in the box, establish the fastball early and allow your defense to do their work.
Erickson's working away from the lefty, and that's going to work to his favor, I think, in a lot of situations. The wind has been a factor at Warner Park here for a couple of days, but there's no wind today.
And this one on the 2-1 offering, slap down the left field line, chasing for 2, and McGreer will stop there after he is into second base with a leadoff double. Logan McGreer able to get the Clippers on base right off the bat as he slapped that one down the third base foul line. It was in fair territory, and it's a leadoff double for Logan McGreer.
Nice, simple piece of hitting. Didn't try to do too much with it. That pitch was on the outer half. He shot it right down the third base line. That's the exact right thing to do with that pitch.
And we talked about it, right? Erickson had been living outside the entire at-bat there through the first couple of pitches. And we were nice approach there by Logan McGreer, as like Austin said, just taking it right back that way. Now next up, it's going to be Brixton Meyer. Meyer hitting second from the right side here. We'll see if they decide to try to sacrifice his at-bat and move Logan McGreer over as he squares. First pitch is going to be bunted back to the pitcher. Erickson's only play will be to first, and it's a successful sacrifice for Meyer as McGreer will move up to third base. Now he's 90 feet away from getting Malcolm on the board.
Not the foul or perfect that you talked about, but got the job done anyways. At the end of the day, that's what matters most.
So one out here in the top of the first inning. Due up, it's going to be Mason Wisniewski. And if you are a Malcolm Clippers supporter, this is who you want up with guys in scoring position. And McGreer is 90 feet away. A .520 average on the campaign. Here's the pitch from Erickson. Breaking ball. It goes over the heart of the plate for a strike, 0-1.
Probably won't want to leave another one there for Wisniewski. He was taking the first one, but if that breaking ball hangs up again, I would expect to see it in the left center field gap.
Left-handed pitcher, right-handed batter, and now Erickson will step off the rubber and reset here ahead of the 0-1 count. No balls, 1 strike, 1 out here in the top of the first inning. Malcolm and Central City Centura. Here's the 0-1 offering to Wisniewski. On the way, it's in the dirt, gets to the backstop. McGreer's going to try to swipe home, and he will, standing up, and Malcolm is on the board first. They lead at 1-0 in the top of the first inning.
Takes away the RBI opportunity, but I'm sure Wisniewski in his third state championship appearance will take the fact that the run's in anyways. And now, again, still a good guy to have at the plate. Your best overall hitter in the 3-hole. Yeah, there's one out, but this is a guy you like to think could get another rally going for the Clippers.
Well, and now Wisniewski also can help himself out as he's going to be on the bump for the Malcolm Clippers here if he can get on base. 1-1. This one slapped through the right side, and that's another base hit. The second baseman was shifted over closer to second base's bag, and that allowed a big gaping hole on that right side of the field for Mason Wisniewski, and he slapped a single the other way.
Erickson's velocity isn't overpowering. It's a guy that's going to have to get by mixing pitches and locating better than he has through 3 batters here in the state championship game.
And we've seen that a lot this week, is that guys don't have overpowering stuff, but you don't need to. The guy that's going to be pitching for Nebraska tonight against the number 1 seed in the Big Ten, Oregon Ducks, Jackson Brockett, doesn't have overpowering stuff by any means, but there's ways you can be successful. All right, so Carson Frank now steps into the box. Frank, the future Concordia baseball member, as the Malcolm Clippers lead at 1-0 here in the top of the first inning. Here's the first pitch, swung on and missed. A hardy cut by Carson Frank. He fans through it. It's no balls, 1 strike.
There's a courtesy runner at first base for Wisniewski.
Somebody that's quite smaller than Mason Wisniewski. These Malcolm Clipper uniforms, blue tops with black lettering. They have a white outline to their letters and numbers, which doesn't make it easier to see as it's a ground ball tapped to the second baseman, bobbled by the second baseman. Everybody's going to be safe as the Central City Centura second baseman, Zickman, struggled to field that one. He kind of caught it in an in-between hop, and if you were Connor Erickson on the mound, that's a little frustrating because that was a fairly routine ground ball. It's going to go as an error on the second baseman. And now Malcolm will have runners at first and second base.
Frank runs fine, but that looked like a tailor-made 4-6-3 double play ball to get out of the inning.
So it's an error on the second baseman, and that brings up number 25, the first baseman today, Garrett England. Lefty hitter, lefty pitcher. This one swung on, tapped left side, but foul. And we'll have a no ball, 1 strike count coming up in just a moment. England on the year, a .320 hitter, has 1 long ball for the Malcolm Clippers, hits from the left side. Where's number 25 for the Clips? Runners are on first and second base. After Frank just reached on an error for Malcolm on the second baseman. The 0-1 offering. He squared to bump for a second, but pulled back, takes ball in the dirt. It's 1 ball, 1 strike.
England this year driven in 20 runs, couple more out there for him with 1 out in the inning. You could see a sacrifice bunt to get 2 into scoring position, but they're seeing Erickson well. I'm team swing away here.
1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out in the top of the first inning. Here's the pitch on 1-1, and it's a tad outside for a ball, 2-1. It's not that Erickson struggled with command mostly. It's that unfortunately Malcolm's just kind of came out with a really aggressive approach, and it's provided them, and they're reaping the benefits here. 2 balls, 1 strike. Here's the pitch from Erickson. It's a breaking ball that works itself back to the inner part of the zone for a strike, 2-2. And now it feels like a big pitch coming for Connor Erickson on the bump. 2 balls, 2 strikes, a chance to do it yourself after your middle infielders just committed an error on the previous batter that allowed him to reach safely. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out in the top of the first. The lefty kicks and fires and gets a swinging strikeout on a ball that was kind of up and in. England tried to do too much with it, and he goes down swinging for out number 2. So a big out there by Erickson doing it himself, and now that brings up the designated hitter, somebody with a familiar last name, Justin Wisniewski. The designated hitter, the junior, hits .380 on the season. He hits from the right side with runners at first and second base. Here's the first pitch of the at-bat. It's back foot, not quite in the dirt, but still low and inside, and it's ball 1.
Whoever that is out there courtesy running for Mason Wisniewski, the pitcher, a little jumpy, a little antsy. His first move is always back toward the bag.
Here's a 1-0 pitch, swung on and missed on a very similar pitch in a very similar spot towards the back foot of Wisniewski in the box, and he fanned through it for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And it's not a big deal on pitches like that where it's foul, where it's a routine play, but every step counts in a game like this. You don't want to be giving up ground if you can help it.
Here's the 1-1 offering, swung on. Shallow fly ball to right field. The right fielder will not get there. Rounding third, and now the right fielder boots it. They're going to wave Frank in from third. The throw to the plate is offline, and 2 runs will score, as now on the backside, Wisniewski will get into second base on the air, and Malcolm has put up a crooked number here in the top of the first inning. They lead it 3-0.
Well-placed base knock there by Wisniewski. That would have scored 1 for sure. Just with how that hung up there, 2 outs, the runner was going on contact. But then to make the mistake, first of all, of letting that ball drop, right? It was hit at such an angle, it wasn't going to bounce. The glove didn't get down on the ground. The right fielder overran it. And then a throw, that's got to go to the cutoff man. Plain and simple, it has to go to the cutoff man. There wasn't much of a chance to get Frank, and there's an aggressive turn around first. You got to keep that low, cut it off. It would have been, 2 runs in, most likely just because of the bobble, but now you allow another 90 feet to second base, put that 4th run just a base knock away.
And that's going to bring up number 17, Cole Tiedemann. Tiedemann on the year, the 7-hole hitter for Malcolm, hitting .300 on the season, 12 runs driven in. He scored 27 runs. Not bad production, certainly out of your 7-hole hitter, Cole Tiedemann. Runner at second base is number 20, Justin Wisniewski. Here's the pitch from Erickson on the way to Tiedemann as it's in the zone for a strike, 0-1.
Aside from the leadoff double by McGreer, Erickson hasn't really been hit around that hard. Just well placed by Malcolm and a couple miscues by the Colonels in the field.
3-0 your score here in the top of the first inning. Here's the pitch. This one fouled back to the screen, and quickly Erickson's on top of Cole Tiedemann. No balls, 2 strikes. And it's real unfortunate because I think if you are Coach Detlefson over there in the Central City Centura dugout, you feel like you should be out of this inning if your second baseman could field a ground ball. Here's the 0-2. Breaking ball, swung on and hit well into left center field. The center fielder races over, will not get there. Another run is in on a 2-out single by Cole Tiedemann as Wisniewski will come around from second base to score, and Malcolm has broken it up into a 4-0 lead here in the top of the first inning.
Nick, we mentioned at the top of the broadcast that Malcolm's just kind of been skating by. They've been in a lot of tight games. What a good sign for them before Central City even comes to bat to put up a 4 spot. And that run made possible by the drop in the overthrow from the previous batter.
So now that will bring up the second baseman, Chase Smith. Smith, the junior, hits from the right side with the runner at first base in Cole Tiedemann. Here's the delivery and the fire from Erickson inside to the righty, Chase Smith, and that's a ball, 1-0. 4-0 is your score. Tiedemann leads off the first. Chase Smith in the box, the 1-0. Breaking ball worked itself into the middle of the zone. It's now 1-1. I appreciate the home plate umpire, real animated with his strike calls. Maybe he knows I'm on TV. I got to do a little something extra here. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs here in the top of the first inning. As Connor Erickson trying to get out of it. Breaking ball fouled off to the right side, and we'll do it at 1 ball, 2 strikes here as that one bounces off the suites here at Warner Park and back down to the 100 levels.
Smith was behind that one. It was a fastball that was a little bit elevated. Smith couldn't get the hands activated quick enough. If you're Erickson, you either got to locate your breaking ball, but Nick, I think fastball is probably the best option here at the bottom of the order.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs, top of the first. Malcolm leads it 4-0. Here's the pitch to Chase Smith. Breaking ball stays upstairs, and it's 2-2. We're even. 2025 State Baseball Tournament, Class C State Championship game going on currently. Our first game of 3 today. B is at 3:30 p.m. and Class A at 7 p.m. Here's the pitch on 2-2 from Erickson. Breaking ball stays up and away for a ball, 3-2, and now we're full. And Austin, I got to agree with you that I'm surprised we haven't seen Erickson throw that fastball yet. He was ahead in the count, 1-2. And it's been back-to-back breaking balls that have stayed outside the zone for a ball.
And the fastball that he missed with earlier in the at-bat was a good miss. It was low and in on a guy that wasn't getting around on it, so that's a good spot for it.
Payoff pitch, hit right side but foul, just outside of the boundary there on down the right field line. Tiedemann was off with the pitch, and so I think there was a chance he could have come around to score. Cole Tiedemann runs well over there on that right side, and he was 3/4 of the way to second base by the time that ball passed the first base bag. The 3-2 pitch by Erickson inside, ball 4, and the inning's now going to be extended for the 9-hole hitter, number 4, Preston Kutra.
Good job by Smith there, Nick, to have one really good at-bat. You mentioned getting down 1-2, watched the breaking ball, didn't get antsy, let it come to him, fouled one off, then drew the walk. What good lineup depth here from Malcolm. The only times that the Clippers have gotten out so far are an out that they sacrificed on the bunt by Meyer in chasing a fastball. Malcolm's only gotten itself out right now.
Kutra, the sophomore, hits .364 in the 9 spot for the Malcolm Clippers. Here's the pitch, breaking ball down the middle for a strike, 0-1. Good job by Erickson getting on top of Kutra here. Kutra getting the start behind the dish today for the Malcolm Clippers. Malcolm leads this one 4-0 here in the early going, the top of the first inning. Preston Kutra, the right-handed hitter. This one swung on and missed. And once again, we see Connor Erickson getting on top of guys early. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the top of the first inning. And we'll see what Connor Erickson can do. Can he finally put somebody away?
Don't mess around. Got to go with the 9-hole.
Runner is not being held on at first. They're working the runner at second. And Tiedemann, here's the 0-2 offering on the way. Soft grounder to the second baseman. He'll get another chance at it. Fields this one cleanly. Fires it over to the first baseman in time for out number 3. But an ideal start for the Malcolm Clippers as they try to get their 3rd straight state championship here today at Warner Park. They put up 4 runs on 4 hits in the top of the first inning. We'll come back in 60 seconds with the bottom half of the first and Central City Centura due up first here on 93.7 The Ticket.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Jumpstart your summer to the max. Walk into any Max Tan in Lincoln and get a $5 standing tan session or a $5 red light wellness booth session. Your summer tan starts today with $5 sessions at Max Tan with 3 Lincoln locations.
Back to the 2025 State Baseball Tournament on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
So an inning that got started by a Logan McCreer leadoff double down the left field line is able to produce 4 runs for the Malcolm Clippers in the top half of the first inning. Certainly a long way to go, though, here. And as Central City Centura comes up to bat, first 3 in the lineup, Erickson, Freeze, and Rule. Obviously, the guy to know in this lineup, Jacob Rule, the future Creighton Blue Jay, hits .365 on the year. No home runs, but 11 runs driven in. But Erickson will start us off. Connor Erickson, the pitcher, and he hits .358 on the campaign, does have 2 home runs.
Tells you Erickson's a really good athlete, that he's leading off at the top of this order. In high school, it's a little different than in the major leagues, right? He's not in the Kyle Schwarber camp of a power leadoff hitter necessarily. Erickson, a first baseman pitcher, as you mentioned. It's a sign of respect and probably a guy with some pretty good wheels if he's sitting at the top of a high school order.
So Connor Erickson, the left-handed hitter, steps in against Mason Wisniewski, and he takes ball 1 low in the dirt, 1-0. It'll be important here for the Colonels of Central City Centura to just start chipping away, right? You don't need all 4 back here in the bottom of the first inning, but if you can get 1, maybe 2, you feel okay about your chances going forward in the remaining 6 innings in this one.
That's just the thing. Get runners on base, see if you can get them on, get them over, get them in. And if you're Erickson especially, right, here's your chance to calm down. You can't be thinking about what happened in the mound on the batter's box. You got to focus on your at-bat. You can't get it all back in one swing. Just do your job.
As he hits this one well to the left side, it's past the shortstop, a diving shortstop attempt, and it's a leadoff single for Connor Erickson as he slapped that one through the left side.
Kept it simple, did his job.
So now stepping up to the plate, it's number 17, Barrett Freeze. The senior hits .357, has 9 runs driven in, 20 hits entering the state tournament. Also hits from the left side.
Courtesy runner, number 13, Spencer Jaros for Central City Centura.
So Jaros will lead off of first as they courtesy run for the Central City Centura pitcher, Connor Erickson. Wisniewski comes set at the belt and fires. Up and away for a ball, 1-0. Freeze getting the start at shortstop today. As he faces the 1-0 offering from Wisniewski. On the way, swung on and missed. As that one was right down the middle, it's 1-1.
I like the approach from both sides here, Nick. Seeing probably the best starter available for both of these teams, maybe the best guy, period, if you look at the numbers. Coming out aggressive, both offensive have been. Sending a message, we're not scared. Bring your best.
Here's the pitch, 1-1, a foul ball on a bunt attempt, and it's 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Freeze knew he missed it, popped himself on the head a couple times after he dropped that bat head too far.
So on the mound, it's Mason Wisniewski, 5-0 on the year. Talked about him at the top of the broadcast. A sub-1 earned run average on the season. The 1 ball, 2 strike pitch from Wisniewski to Freeze. Here's the pitch on 1-2. Low out of the zone, ball 2.
Good miss, though, from Wisniewski. Keep it down. That's going to lead to success in the long run.
So Spencer Jaros is the courtesy runner at first base. He has a very routine lead over there at first. Now extends a little bit as I said that. And this one gets Freeze fishing low and away, way out of the zone. It's strike 3, and that is out number 1 for Mason Wisniewski on the mound.
That's pitching right there. Fastball low, just out of the zone. He threw another one in that same spot, except this time it's the breaking ball. Started at the knees, tumbled below. That's not just throwing. That's pitching. That's smart pitching.
So 1 out here in the bottom of the first inning. The Colonels of Central City Centura trying to cut into this 4-run deficit after Malcolm put up 4 in the top half. Rule hits this one well to the left side. Is that one going to stay fair? No, it will not. It started to twist and turn towards that wall down the left field line and barely snuck foul. And so now it's a long strike. No balls, 1 strike with 1 out here in the bottom of the first inning to Jacob Rule. Jaros still stuck over there at first base. Lefty hitter Rule, righty pitcher Wisniewski for Malcolm. Here's the pitch. Swung on, foul ball to the left side. No balls, 2 strikes. Good job by Wisniewski to get on top of Rule early.
Rule's been aggressive. He's gone to the left side both times. The first one, that's where it was pitched, but Malcolm looked like they set up a little further inside, which I think is really smart strategy as well.
Wouldn't be surprised to see a waste pitch here. You got to be a brick wall behind the plate as this one's fouled off again. It looks like Jaros over there at first base wanted to steal, but I think a lot of it, we talked about it, sometimes steal attempts, they can either be based off of first movement or based off of timing on what you have in your chart in your dugout. And it looked like his timing was just off. And so he did the right thing, which was shut it down, but he would have been okay because Wisniewski wasn't even paying attention to him. Now they pick over, and barely back in time was Jaros. He's got to be careful now over there. Don't be falling asleep standing on your heels.
You had to know that pickoff attempt was coming, right? You think about how high school pitchers often think. Jaros just froze for a second. He didn't immediately dive back to the bag and just made it.
Here's the no ball, 2-strike pitch as Rule rolls over this one. It's fielded cleanly by the second baseman to second for one. No, he drops it. He drops it as he tried to juggle it. The shortstop for the Malcolm Clippers, Frank, dropped the ball that was a good, accurate throw by the second baseman, Smith, right in the wheelhouse for Frank, the shortstop for Malcolm, and an error now allows both runners to be safe. You got to make sure of one before you worry about the second one there.
The first inning, top of the first, I should say, it was on the second baseman for not securing the ball for the flip. That time it's on the shortstop. Eyes got a little big, assumed he had the one, was so worried about getting the second one, but instead he gets neither.
So now that'll bring up number 5 for Central City, Mason Gorski. And he takes strike one over the inner part of the zone. It's 0-1. Gorski with a right-handed batting stance facing the righty pitcher, Wisniewski. Here's the 0-1 offering. Just outside, 1-1. Both of the pitchers on the mound, obviously Erickson for the Colonels of Central City Centura, and now Wisniewski not being the beneficiary of strong defensive play so far through 4 outs in this one, as that 1-1 offering is up and away for a ball, 2-1. 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 out here in the bottom of the first inning. Righty-righty matchup here at Warner Park. Here's the 2-1 offering from Wisniewski. It's upstairs, too high, 3-1. And now is Luders stands in the on-deck circle. Central City doing a good job of getting on base, maybe with some help from the Malcolm defense. However, got to capitalize on it now. The 3-1 pitch swung on and missed. Hardy cut, like the approach from Gorski as he was trying to take that 3-1 fastball and do something dangerous with it. However, he swings and misses. Now it's a full count, 3-2.
See his third base coach tell him, keep your head down. That was a violent swing. His head was up and his front side flew open.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Here's the payoff pitch from Wisniewski. He checks the runner at second twice. Now fires the payoff. Swung on and missed. A nice fastball on the outer part of the plate. Got Gorski down swinging for out number 2. And so now both of Malcolm's outs here in this half inning have come via the swinging strikeout. And now Central City's bottom of the first inning is resting in the hands of Coulter Luders, the senior, getting the start behind the dish today. Hits 371 on the season. Runners at first and second. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed, and it's 0-1 quickly on a fastball that was probably a little up and out of the zone.
A lot of aggressive, violent swings here from the last couple hitters. Wisniewski has to keep that in the back of his mind and figure out the right time to tap into that aggression against Central City Centura.
No balls, 1 strike. Here's the pitch. Swung on, hit well into left field. That's a base hit. Waving the runner around third. They're going to now hold him up as that throw is cut off by the third baseman for Malcolm, and the bases are going to be loaded with 2 outs here in the bottom of the first inning after a 2-out single by Coulter Luders.
Didn't try to do too much with it. That was a hanging breaking ball. Wisniewski's got to locate that a little bit better. He had success 4 or 5 straight pitches with the fastball. Threw that breaking ball, didn't put it where he wanted it, hung over the middle of the plate for Luders to load the bases.
Courtesy runner for Central City Centura is Quinn Jensen, the freshman over there at first base. He's going to be doing the courtesy running for the Colonel's catcher. And so now stepping into the box, it's Hayden Murphy. Murphy, the left-handed hitter, getting the start in center field today for Central City. Here's the first pitch of the at-bat. Outside corner, he clips the zone. Good pitch there by Wisniewski. It's 0-1. So Jaros is at first. Rule is at second. And now Jensen's at first for Central City as they trail by 4. Standing in the box, it's Hayden Murphy, and now it's 1 ball, 1 strike. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs in the bottom of the first inning. Here's the pitch from Wisniewski on the way, swung on and missed. That's an attempt at pulling the baseball there on a pitch that was low and away. Not going to do much with that one. And now it's quickly 1-2 to Hayden Murphy, the center fielder for Central City Centura. Wisniewski trying to leave him loaded. The 1-2 offering on the way. Sky high pop-up. It should stay in play. The third baseman for Malcolm is ranging over, and Meyer is there to haul it in for out number 3. And so after giving up 4 runs in the top half of the first inning to Malcolm, Central City Centura is able to get them loaded, but they leave them all stranded. It's 4-0 after 1 inning of play here in the Class C state championship game on 93.7 The Ticket.
Now's the time to lock in the best deal of the year on a new John Deere sprayer during Landmark Implement's Sprayer Early Order Program. Leverage the industry's latest technology with See and Spray. Target weeds with precision and cut herbicide use. Utilize Exact Apply to save in chemical usage and prevent over-application. Don't forget, secure early order savings and get the sprayer that maximizes every pass. Visit your Landmark location for full details and experience the Landmark difference.
Your possibilities are endless at Doane University. Discovering your life's passion is easier with options, and that's what Doane offers students. Rooted in liberal arts, you can choose from undergraduate and graduate programs, all delivering real-world experience. At Doane, we take a personal approach to education, giving you the guidance you need to own your future. It's not just our innovative learning, it's the feeling of being surrounded by possibilities that makes you different. Apply today at doane.edu/apply.
Back to the 2025 State Baseball Tournament on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Nick Standard, Austin Norman back with you from Warner Park. In the top of the first inning, all 9 Malcolm Clipper hitters came to the plate. So now we will get to see Logan McGreer lead things off. He got the first inning barrage started for Malcolm with the leadoff double down the left field line. So he is 1 for 1 after coming around to score the game's first run back in the top of the first inning. Here's the first pitch from Connor Erickson, who's back on the mound for Central City Centura, and it's low and away for a ball, 1-0.
Malcolm saw 27 pitches in the first inning, which is a lot, but also only an average of 3 pitches per batter, which tells you just how aggressive Malcolm was.
Speaking of aggressive, an aggressive swing on that 1-0 breaking ball by McGreer. He fans through it. It's 1-1. The 1-1 offering on the way from Erickson. Swung on, hit well up the middle, and now McGreer is 2 for 2 as he put a little bit of scare into Erickson on the bump as that line drive whizzed right past his left side.
Another good piece of hitting. Took that one over the heart of the plate, sent it right back up the box. Doing a job as the leadoff guy. Get on to start the inning, put some pressure on the pitcher from the get-go.
But right, once again, like you said, Austin, that's the third pitch of the at-bat, and McGreer is on first base now with nobody out in the top of the second inning. Right on pace for what we saw in that first inning for the Malcolm Clippers. Now standing in, it's Brixton Meyer. Meyer laid down that sacrifice his first time up, does the same exact thing. The only play will be to first base, and so Brixton Meyer for the second time today is able to do his job. It's a sacrifice bunt for him. The second one of the game, 1-3 on the putout for out number 1, and my game book looks very similar as it did in the first inning so far to where McGreer moves over thanks to a Brixton Meyer sacrifice. So now that brings up Mason Wisniewski. Wisniewski singled and then reached second base on an error by the second baseman in his first time before coming around to score as the first pitch of the at-bat breaking ball finds the strike zone, 0-1.
Wisniewski gives a little nod after the umpire calls the strike, and that just always cracks me up for high school hitters who, most of them, every time they take a strike, they have to tell their coach, yeah, coach, I just let that one go, because there's a lot of arguing with the strike zone in the high school ranks.
The 0-1 offering is outside. It stays outside. 1 ball, 1 strike coming up to Mason Wisniewski.
I know that you always saw every pitch the umpire called the same way.
Not a chance. Not a chance. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out here in the top of the second inning. McGreer stands on second base for Malcolm as they try to extend this lead. This one hit well out to left center field. The center fielder racing back. He'll be a couple of steps shy of the warning track. McGreer would have normally been able to tag up from second and run into third. However, he was off with the pitch, and when he saw Wisniewski fly that one to deep left center field, he had to retreat to second base's bag. And by the time he got back there, it was not enough time for him to tag up. And so he is going to be stuck at second base now. And that will now bring up Frank, the cleanup hitter, who reached on an error. Carson Frank. He came around to score after reaching on that error by the second baseman in the first inning. He has a runner out at second base in Logan McGreer. First pitch of the at-bat is a ball, 1-0.
Wisniewski hit that pretty well, but it also didn't sound like he got all of it at the same time. That ball just kept going.
A nice job in center field there by Murphy. Hayden Murphy out there in center field for Central City Centura. This one on 1-0 is outside, ball 2. So 2 balls, no strikes, 2 outs here in the top half of the first inning. Connor Erickson comes set at the letters. Here's the pitch on 2-0 in the dirt, 3-0. In the on-deck circle, it's the first baseman for the Malcolm Clippers, England. As the 3-0 pitch, he swings on the 3-0 count, and it's going to be a sky-high pop-up to shallow right field. The right fielder for the Central City Centura, Colonels, the Keener is over there, and he hauls it in for out number 3. A good response there in the top half of the second inning by Connor Erickson, as he does not get the Malcolm Clippers to go down in order, but he leaves McGreer stranded at second base. And we head to the bottom of the second inning with your score, Malcolm 4 and Central City Centura 0 here in the Class C title game on 93.7 The Ticket.
Prashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription, or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Back to the 2025 State Baseball Tournament on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into Warner Park. Nick Sainert, Austin Norman with you. Harrison Arns back in our 93.7 The Ticket studios. Due up first, it's going to be the designated hitter, number 22, Colbin Peters, as Peters will bend over and take a ball up and in for 1-0 count. Here as Colbin Peters, the sophomore, hits .241 on the campaign, hits from the right side, has good size to him for a sophomore, as the 1-0 pitch is going to be swung on and missed. It's 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Nobody out here in the bottom of the second inning here in the Class C state championship game. Central City Centura versus Malcolm. Here's the 1-1, fouled back to the padding, and we'll do it at 1 ball, 2 strikes here in just a second. Central City Centura looking for their first state title in school history, while Malcolm looking for their 3rd straight. We have a couple of schools that are going for runs today. Here's the 1-2 pitch, swung on and missed, and Mason Wisniewski is able to get Colbin Peters down swinging on a fastball up and out of the zone. An elevated heater gets Peters down swinging for out number 1.
A lot of these swings from Central City, I mean, especially from Luters early in the at-bat, Goreski a little bit, Hayden Murphy once or twice, and now Peters have all looked the same on that high heat. They want to hold up, but it's just too enticing, and they end up going around.
So now Luke Vakiner will step up to the plate, hits from the left side, gets the start in center field, made a nice play on a deep fly ball off the bat of Wisniewski. Now he'll try to hit one off of the right arm of Wisniewski as he hits from the left side. The 1-0 pitch from Wisniewski on the way. It's up and away for a ball, 2-0.
This is what you want the bottom of your lineup to do. See pitches, run the pitch count up. So now 2-0. I probably throw on the take sign here. Make Wisniewski come in with a strike.
2 balls, no strikes. Here's the pitch. It's the outside corner, and that's 2-1. It's interesting that you say that because a lot of guys will also look at it and say, well, Wisniewski struck out our first hitter. Well, he wasn't swinging at strikes. It was a lack of discipline by the Central City hitter, as this one is going to be a fairly routine fly ball to center field. Camping under it is the center fielder for Malcolm, as that is Logan McGreer, and he has it for out number 2. So now 9-hitter coming up in the Central City Centura batting order. Number 2, the second baseman, Parker Zickman. Zickman hitting .250 on the season. No home runs, just 5 runs driven in as well. Here's the pitch from Wisniewski. Fouled off to the right side, 0-1.
All arm on that swing. That back foot wasn't planted. Going to be tough to do anything against velocity if that's how the swing's going to look.
No balls, 1 strike, 2 outs here in the bottom of the second inning. 4-0 Malcolm. This one is on the outer part of the zone, and it's 0-2 quickly to Parker Zickman. Zickman, the junior, just 48 at-bats this season. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Wisniewski trying to work a clean one again as this one's a chopper to the shortstop. Fielded cleanly, fired over to first in time for out number 3. And so if you take away what happened in that top of the first inning, it's been a very clean and quick, efficient couple of frames as we go to the top of the third inning. Your score, the Malcolm Clippers 4 and Central City Centura Colonels 0 here in the Class C state championship game on 93.7 The Ticket.
Ticket listeners know a dream team when they see one. At Applied Connective, we've been in the game for 20 years and have developed a team of world-class leaders in all things IT. From cybersecurity and Microsoft products to physical security, audio-video, infrastructure, business phone systems, and anything in between. We'll help you leverage technology to become your most secure, efficient, and profitable. Head to our website to check out real reviews and testimonials and sign up for a free tech consultation. We can show you where you might be vulnerable, inefficient, or overspending. It's a game changer, and it's totally free. Claim yours right now at appliedconnective.com.
Jumpstart your summer to the max. Walk into any Max Tan in Lincoln and get a $5 standing tan session or a $5 red light wellness booth session. Your summer tan starts today with $5 sessions at Max Tan with 3 Lincoln locations.
Back to the 2025 State Baseball Tournament on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into Warner Park. Nick Sainert, Austin Orman for you here in the Class C state championship game. Before we move on to the top of the third, your possibilities are endless at Doane University. Discovering your life's passions is easier with options, and that is what Doane offers students. Learn about undergraduate and graduate programs that offer real-world experience at doane.edu. 5, 6, and 7 hitters due up here for Malcolm in the top of the third. With all the action, it's Austin Orman.
Thank you very much, Nick. Connor Erickson on the mound against Garrett England to lead off. England struck out his first at bat. He takes a breaker for the first pitch he sees in the third. He's down in the count, 0-1. 4-0 Malcolm. They put up 4 in the top of the first. Erickson brings a fastball in, but it's low, 1-1. Beautiful day for baseball. Winds picked up a little bit. Not much, though. Flags are mostly limp, but blowing in from right field. Erickson's 1-1. Cut on, fouled back to the netting by England. Erickson's ahead in the count, 1-2.
England real early on that breaking ball. We'll see what adjustments made. I wouldn't be surprised to see Erickson bring that breaker in and put it in a spot where that bat can't touch it, somewhere in the dirt, make it unhittable.
We'll see what he goes with. Goes with the fastball, fouled off by England. If you're going to throw the fastball there, probably got to get it up a little bit higher where England's going to chase letter high or above. White uniforms and pants with some red sleeves, green cap, red bill for Central City. Malcolm in their road blues, gray pants. That's a breaker outside, 2-2. Kind of feels like that was pitching backwards there, Nick. Probably traditionally go with the breaking ball to keep that bat, sped up really way far ahead of it and then come back with the fastball after you miss. But either way, They both missed 4 balls, 2-2. Swung on and missed. There's the high heat. England couldn't resist for the second time today. He's down on strikes, this time leading off the third. Second K of the day for Erickson. They both come at the courtesy of Garrett England. So now that brings up Justin Wisniewski. He singled, drove in a run back in the first. Wisniewski, a righty. Breaking ball misses shoulder high, 1-0. Justin Wisniewski, a 380 hitter. His brother Mason, a 520 hitter. He got averages of 457, 362, 320 in the regular starting lineup for Malcolm. Missed again with the fastball. This time it's 2-0.
It's been a good response by Erickson ever since that 4-run first inning. He's retired his last 4 Malcolm Clippers hitters that he's faced. In danger of losing, though, Wisniewski at the plate. He's down 3-0 in the count.
That he is. We've seen 2 pitches from Erickson, fastball and the slider. He's out of the windup from that third base side of the rubber. Here it comes. That one skips up to the catcher's glove, and Wisniewski aboard with a 4-pitch walk. So Wisniewski reaches first base for the second time today. First time as a single, now it's a base on balls. That brings up Cole Tiedemann. Tiedemann had an RBI single, got to second base back in that first inning. Tiedemann, one of those players that's going to college, except he will be playing football. He'll be a Dort defender on the gridiron. Tiedemann, a lefty, awaits the pitch from the lefty Erickson. Good breaking ball snapped off for strike 1.
That's a tough pitch to bring in there. You just walked a hitter on 4 straight pitches that weren't really even close to being competitive and in the zone. And you come back to Cole Tiedemann here after 4 consecutive balls, and you're able to snap a breaking ball right down Broadway. Good pitch.
Short lead from Wisniewski. Erickson doubles down. Another bender in their same spot, 0-2. Now, Nick, if you're Tiedemann, yes, you've seen 2 breaking balls, but you go fastball adjust always, especially with 2 strikes. The Erickson lefty kicks his arms out in front of him. Now here's the late kick. Fires in another one. Just missed on the inside, 1-2.
Catcher didn't do his pitcher any favors there. Drops down to a knee. I don't know if he got crossed up on that one, but he dropped down to a knee, was kind of weak with that glove side forearm, and made the illusion that it was a much worse pitch than it actually was.
The 1-2 from Erickson outside. Tiedemann's back even in the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Erickson's done a good job of making sure the runners don't get very far off with their leads. We haven't seen Malcolm be aggressive on the base paths in terms of stealing. He's done a high late kick, a little bit of a slide step, a couple checks to first base, now a third check. He brings it home. There's a late kick. Tiedemann moved the forearms a little bit, but no intent to swing. He's worked a full count. Really good at bat here from Cole Tiedemann. Took a couple breaking balls for strikes. Now he's watched 3 straight pitches out of the zone. Malcolm put up 4 in the first. Nothing in the second. Here's their third trip to the plate. The 3-2 from Erickson, cut on, fouled off left side. Will do it again with a full count. Erickson already over 50 pitches on the day. Malcolm certainly made him work. No action in the bullpen yet. But here we go. 60 feet, 6 inches away. Erickson and Tiedemann. Full count outside. Tiedemann takes it for ball 4. So he trots down to first base. Wisniewski moves up to second. And that brings up Chase Smith, 8-hole hitter playing second base. He walked back in the first inning. So 2 free passes out of Chase Erickson, or Connor Erickson rather, in the inning. Here's Chase Smith, sporting a .286 batting average. He's driven in 21 runs. Jumps out of the way of an inside fastball, 1-0. Erickson's not throwing so hard that it would let the dugout get away with not a yell, or wear it yell very briefly. Smith ready for the 1-0. The righty awaits the pitch from the lefty. Erickson trying that inside corner again. He's behind 2-0. Good to see the pitchers try to go inside, though, Nick. A lot of high school baseball is away. But to be able to command both sides of the plate is a huge step for a high school pitcher.
It is. You got to hope that your umpire gives it to you at some point. And right now, Erickson's struggling to buy a strike right now.
That one, probably the furthest pitch inside of the bunch. It's 3-0. Pretty much straight up the alley, if you will, from the pitcher's mound to the plate where Erickson is missing. 3-0 fastball, there it is. 3-1.
It feels like Erickson's best pitch, the one he's most comfortable with, is that breaking ball. However, when you're putting so many guys on base in danger of walking his third in a row here, you can't throw that at your leisure.
You cannot. You also shouldn't walk the bases loaded. It's not recommended, as Erickson just did. At the same time, as much as you think of the fastball being the primary pitch, if you don't have the feel for it, if you feel like you're aiming it instead of throwing it, sometimes you just got to rely on that breaking ball, right? We've seen that more and more in Major League Baseball, where a guy's best pitch is his slider, his 11-5 curveball, whatever it is. And that's going to be the end of the line for Connor Erickson. Trotting in from right field is Luke Vakiner. So Vakiner will take the ball. Looks like Erickson is headed that direction to replace him. Interesting, because on the roster, Erickson is listed as a pitcher and first baseman, but he's got it in his toolkit to play some corner outfield as well. Let's go ahead and step aside for 30 seconds. Be right back here on 93.7 The Ticket.
Welcome summer with Red, White, and Barbecue. Hog Wild will be open this Memorial Day from 11 a.m. until 8 p.m., serving up our award-winning barbecue. Pick up a slab of slow-smoked ribs or a family pack loaded with your favorite choice of meats and sides, complete with buns and our famous barbecue sauce. Enjoy the holiday with family and friends and let Hog Wild do the cooking. Order online at GoHogWild.com. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 3210 Cornhusker Highway in Lincoln.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Back to the 2025 State Baseball Tournament on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
New pitcher for Central City Centura is sophomore Luke Vakiner. Enters with a 6-0 record, an ERA of 1.75. Austin Norman here, Nick Sainer there. Harrison Orange back in our studio. Here's the situation. Malcolm had Garrett England go down swinging on strikes for the second time today, and the Clippers responded with back-to-back-to-back walks by Justin Wisniewski, Cole Tiedemann, and Chase Smith. That brings up Preston Kutra. He grounded out to second base his first at bat. Corners are in, middles are double play depth. Vakiner, a lefty just like Erickson. He's got some more giddy up on that fastball. Missed outside with it, though, on his first pitch, 1-0.
Yeah, if you're Vakiner here, come in, think one pitch away, right? Maybe a ground ball back to the pitcher, go home with it, then they can go to first base, something simple, get a ground ball, let your defense go to work. Hopefully it finds a glove.
Vakiner missed low with that one. Now he's down in the count, 2-0. Kuchar, not the biggest guy, does play catcher, didn't run the best on that ground out to second base back in the first inning to end it. Good spot there by Vakiner, gets the benefit of the call in the low outside corner, 2-1. We've seen catchers in the 9-hole come through with the bases loaded before in this very field. Remember Jack Gideon, Velcorn South, a 3-run double down that right field line not long ago. Kuchar swings through a fastball, counts now even, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Big pitch here on 2-2. Vakiner ready. He's into his windup. He'll bring it home. Fouled off right side by Kutra. Kutra's a righty. Batting average coming into the day, 364. 16 out of 44 this season, driven in 6 runs. He's got his hands high as Kutra kicks and deals. Another fastball fouled back to the screen and bounced off the netting right back to the catcher, 2-2. The Malcolm Clippers in search of their 3rd consecutive Class C championship. They've won both of them since Class B or Class C baseball was reinstituted a couple years ago. Vakiner finally tries a breaking ball. Didn't have the feel for it that time. Full count. Nowhere to put Preston Kutra. I think he'd be competitive with the fastball here, Nick.
Absolutely. And I think Kutra, you got to be looking to hit. We've seen a couple of guys, especially with bases loaded, go down with the bat on their shoulder.
Kutra fouls another one back to the screen. Soon to be the 9th pitch of the at-bat here out of the 9-hole hitter. 4-0 Malcolm. They've got their 4 runs on 5 hits, aided by a couple of Colonel's errors. Fastball taken just off the plate. A 9-pitch at bat ends in favor of Preston Kutra. He is rewarded with an RBI on the 4th consecutive walk drawn by Malcolm. Nick, I noted earlier that Malcolm was pretty aggressive in how they were attacking Erickson. Now it's the patience coming out to play for the Clippers.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I don't think this pitch missed by much. As I'm going to watch it on the replay here. I don't think that pitch missed by much. Not a whole lot. You sometimes get that call at the high school level. Unfortunate miss. But once again, you can also, the way the game is played, and what I mean by that is 4 consecutive walks will hurt you at getting a couple of calls potentially.
That brings up Logan McGreer. McGreer 2 for 2 so far today with a double and a run and then a single in the first 2 innings. He fouled that one back over our heads. Counts even 1-1. Lefty-lefty matchup. Vakiner comes set. They'll bring home the breaking ball. Missed high with it again, 2-1.
But I will also say this, like this is part of the struggle of playing so many games over such a short amount of time. By the time you get to the state championship game, you might be limited on arms, right? And I don't think that's the case with maybe these 2 schools, but I think we're going to see that, especially in our next game with Class B action. It's going to be, you're going to need somebody that maybe over the course of the regular season, you haven't had them or needed them to step up. They need to on the biggest stage.
On Class B, the teams that we'll see played a couple marathons between them. McGreer took that one off the knob of the bat, fouled it back. It's 2-2. Fastball letter high just out. Full count again. Clippers really grinding out at bats here, extending their lead to 5-0 here in the top of the third. Bases loaded, 1 away. Vakiner comes set in his windup. He'll drop down to his belt, kick and fire the 3-2. Fastball taken low, back-to-back bases loaded walks. And the bases are still loaded as the lineup turns over to Brixton Meyer. Meyer, no official at-bats on the day, even though he's come to the plate in all 3 innings. He has sacrificed his at-bat each of the previous 2 tries.
6 runs already across here for Malcolm, and these 2 that they've added on in the 3rd inning haven't been because they've done anything spectacular. It's been helped out by a couple of Central City Centura walks, and by a couple of them as a team. That is 5 in a row now.
Meyer takes a strike. He's behind in the count 0-1. He's squared to bunt his previous 2 at-bats. Nick, with Vakiner struggling to find the strike zone, I don't know if I'd try to gift the Colonels an out right now.
That and plus you have a force out at the plate. He hasn't shown the ability to have any direction to it. It's both of his bunts have been right back to the pitcher. At the time it was Erickson. And so if you are Malcolm, you're facing an 0-2 count here. See if you can get a base knock.
Good job by Vakiner, jumping way ahead in the count. He's got some wiggle room now. Here comes the 0-2. Catcher didn't help frame that one. It missed. Maybe not by as much as it looked like. Looters didn't hold it. So now it's 1-2. Brixton Smith wears number 3 for Malcolm. Sports a .320 batting average and 29 runs driven in. Look at the leading RBI guys for Malcolm. That puts Brixton Meyer 3rd on the team behind Wisniewski and Carson Frank. Here's the 2-2 from Vakiner out of the windup. Fastball taken off the plate, 3-2.
And this is where you can really get into some trouble and see that pitch count start to rapidly rise if you are Central City Centura. This is the 3rd straight batter that has had a full count.
20 pitches through 3 batters for Vakiner. Here comes another full count, low and in the dirt. The line keeps moving, 90 feet at a time for Malcolm. That is now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 consecutive 3 passes issued.
And you were ahead on him 0-2. It seems like you just let one get away right there. And quickly, it's 7-0 here. It doesn't look like Vakiner's able to find the zone consistently. I mean, you're talking about if Central City can't get out of this quickly and then get the bats alive, we're talking about an early finish here.
Just not how you would draw it up in a state championship game between the number 1 and the number 2 seeds. If you look at it that way, the system works. You get the 2 best teams in Class C pretty much all year long. Between them, Malcolm 24-2, Central City 21-1. So that's coming into the state tournament with a combined 45-3 record.
Yeah, it's crazy. And the last time these two teams played, it was competitive. I mean, it was very competitive. And just a couple of weeks ago, Central City beat Malcolm 8-4. Here you have it, top of the third inning, 1 out, and Malcolm's up 7-0. And it feels like Central City just has no momentum, nothing going their way right now, offensively, defensively, in all phases of the baseball game.
Malcolm coach Zach Wayner comes out to have a conversation with the home plate umpire, a brief one. Clarification on something, perhaps. Here's one of the most dangerous hitters in Class C, Mason Wisniewski. He had the .520 batting average, 42 runs driven in, and 4 long balls. He's a righty awaiting the pitch from the lefty Vakiner. Bounced up there in the dirt. 1-0. Wisniewski singled and scored in the first and flew out to center field in the second. He wears number 5. He awaits the pitch from Vakiner. Takes a fastball over the outer edge, 1-1. Left fielder giving a lot of respect to Wisniewski's power. He's pretty deep. Here's the 1-1. Good spot there by Vakiner with the fastball. He jumps back ahead in the count, 1-2.
This is a big opportunity for Wisniewski at the plate here. Help yourself out. You're already going to be able to pitch with at least a 7-run lead when you go back out there in the bottom of the third, but try to add some insurance here in the first 3 frames.
The 1-2 from Vakiner, drilled to right field. That's going to send the right fielder back. Making the catch. It looks like that's Erickson out there, but it will be a sacrifice fly for Mason Wisniewski. He adds another RBI to his total, and the runner from second base, Logan McGreer, moves up to third. 8-0. Malcolm leads now as we play in the third inning. Here's Carson Frank, 9th batter of the inning for Malcolm. Frank today reached on an error and flew out to right field. McGreer at third, Meyer at first. Runners on the corners, 2 away. Vakiner's pitch taken for a strike, 0-1. Vakiner seems to be in better rhythm, better timing out of the stretch here, Nick.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And that's where it's always interesting. You see high school guys, they'll switch back and forth, especially if the bases get loaded, as this one's hit well out to center field.
But in the air, center fielder will move over to his left, settle underneath it. That's Hayden Murphy making the catch. But not before Malcolm puts up its second 4-run inning of the day. Central City comes to bat, trailing 8-0 after this, and the bottom of the third on 93.7 The Ticket.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Take control of your health with the DASH scan at Advanced Medical Imaging. The DASH scan is a full-body MRI designed for advanced health screening. This dynamic approach provides exceptionally sharp images across multiple organ systems, helping to detect potential concerns early. With minimal radiation and no invasive procedures, the DASH scan offers a safe, comprehensive look at your health. Plus, results are delivered faster than ever, giving both patients and physicians confidence in screening and diagnosis. Your health is too important to wait. Schedule your DASH scan today at Advanced Medical Imaging. Visit amimaging.com or call 402-484-6677 to learn more.
Back to the 2025 State Baseball Tournament on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back here at Warner Park, Nick Sainert, Austin Norman with you. Give to Lincoln Day is Thursday, May 29th, and 93.7 The Ticket's going to be out at Matt Talbot Kitchen and Outreach from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. You can give ahead at givetolincoln.com. Just make sure you choose Matt Talbot Kitchen and Outreach, located just north of 27th and Holdridge. Another 4 runs in the top half of the third inning for the Malcolm Clippers. They now lead 8-0. And here we turn to Central City Centura in the bottom of the third. Austin Norman.
Thank you very much, Nick. For Central City, it will be the top of the order. Connor Erickson, Barrett Freeze, and Jake Rule. Right now, we're waiting for some Colonels to trot their way in from the bullpens beyond center field. Seems like that gate is not perfectly shut, but
nope.
We have not seen anyone threaten
Actually,
it yet.
I can tell the story with that. It
Please.
was last year. So that the gate back there, it's a flap that stays open. Unfortunately,
did John Rave break it?
When John Rave ran into the wall, you're right.
Did he make the catch?
He did. There was a highlight posted. That's the only reason I know about it.
Erickson goes after the first pitch. He fouls it back to the screen, 0-1. In some Omaha Storm Chasers news, Nick Lofton recalled by the Kansas City Royals as Hunter Renfroe got DFA'd.
How do you feel about that, Hunter Renfroe?
As
a Royals fan?
I feel like I'm more excited by orders of magnitude to watch Class C state baseball than I was to watch a Hunter Renfroe.
That makes some sense. Obviously, I don't pay close attention to Hunter Renfroe statistics.
Renfroe had a really good stretch in late May, early June into early July last year. And other than that, he was borderline unplayable. Not unplayable is Connor Erickson, who has some really good numbers coming into today. 360 batting average, 18 runs driven in, couple long balls. Rough day for him on the mound. Certainly wasn't assisted by his defense. He fouled that one off over our heads. It's still 0-2. Mason Wisniewski still on the mound for Malcolm. Wisniewski a righty, Erickson a lefty. Kutras, that's a high target. Here comes Wisniewski's fastball. Didn't get as high as he wanted it, but high enough to do the job. Erickson underneath it. Drifting to his right is Malcolm center fielder Logan McGreer, and Connor Erickson is retired to start the third inning.
You know, and this one's still a far ways from being over, and there's still plenty of time for Central City to start chipping away at this Malcolm lead. But, you know, I keep going back to, and I keep thinking about that bottom of the first inning. What would it be differently how would this one feel if they didn't, Central City Centura wouldn't have left the bases loaded? If they could have gotten 1-2 runs back and it could have been a 4-2 ball game entering the second inning, what kind of different a feel would we have in this ball game?
Freeze takes a breaker inside 1-0. Every run makes a difference. 8 feels like a lot. 6 is a lot, but that's a couple innings of a couple runs here, there, and you're right back within striking distance. Against a pitcher like Wisniewski, runs are likely to be hard to come by. He entered today with an ERA of .368. Not 3.68, .368. But he's missed on 3 straight pitches here to Freeze. So the second batter of the frame for the Colonels, way ahead in the count, 3-0. Freeze a 360 batter, 20 out of 56 this year. Takes a 3-0 for a fastball over the inside part, 3-1. Freeze was ready to toss the bat, but thought better of it and held on to it. Good thing he did. 3-1 now, Wisniewski to Freeze. Chopped foul down the first baseline, full count. Freeze saw Wisniewski come back inside. Good quick hands just out in front of that one just a little bit. So Wisniewski gets the ball from Kutra. He's back on the rubber. Wisniewski pitching exclusively from the stretch. He set at the belt. He kicks and fires. Fastball taken outside. Good eye. Good take by Barrett Freeze. He's aboard with a 1-out walk.
You know, and this is where I will say, I mean, if you're Wisniewski on the mound, a lot of guys, you say, okay, we're going to give you an 8-run lead to work with here, Mason Wisniewski, and easy peasy. Let me just throw some strikes and float it across the plate. Sometimes that's easier said than done, right? Allow your defense to still work, but Mason Wisniewski, his number one priority, throw strikes, allow your defense to go to work, and most of the time good things are going to happen, and if you got to adjust, then you adjust.
Jacob Rule fouls that one off out of play to the left side. The Creighton commit down in the count 0-1. We talked about this in a couple situations yesterday, Nick. Teams with these big leads. Rule's the best player on the Central City Centura team, committed to the most prestigious probably university for baseball here among the teammates, right? The Creighton commit. So he takes that one high, 1-1.
Let it be known Austin Orman said that, not myself.
Well, yeah, I'm trying to be respectful. But nothing Jacob Rule can do can hurt you that bad right now. You got to be aggressive. You got to attack the zone. 1-1 count. Wisniewski brings it home. Swung on. That's flipped to left field, drifting and foul. Like we said at the top of the broadcast, a lot of high-level talent, though, in this game between these two teams. If you look at Malcolm Wisniewski's going to Hutchinson Community College. Logan McGreer to Ellsworth. Carson Frank to Concordia. Garrett England, Northeast. Cole Tiedemann's going to play football at Dort. Then for Central City, Jacob Rule, the Creighton commit. Barrett Freeze going to Northeast as well. Mason Gorski, York. Here's the 1-2. Wisniewski to Rule. Righty-lefty matchup. Runner takes off. Rule swings, fouls that back to the screen. It'll happen again, 1-2.
It's always interesting, and this is one of the more fascinating things with the baseball recruiting world and such, is Creighton. I look at a guy that they got last year from the Metro and Nick Van Tyker, and you could tell even at the high school level he was polished, he was ready to go. Jacob Rule might not be, but as a developmental project, surely an intriguing piece for any college baseball program. Certainly has the D1 capability.
Wisniewski picked over to first and Freeze was back in time.
Still, there is a little bit of a difference from what we saw in Van Tyker last year from maybe what we're seeing from Rule here.
Freeze took a couple hard steps to second base on that pitch by Wisniewski. It looked like he was going to run. Thought differently. Would have been the right opportunity as Kutra rushed it, popped out of his glove. It's now 2-2. All right, with a moment to think, let me rephrase. Let me say the highest profile university of any of the commits. How about that? The highest profile.
Yeah, that prestigious word is interesting.
It's a mark of honor that I might not have intended. There's a foul ball that stays in play, ranging over toward the Central City Centura dugout is third baseman Brixon Meyer, and Jacob Rule is retired for the first time today.
Austin, let me ask you, if your sunglasses continue to fall off your hat every single time that you tried to move and started running, would you continue to wear them on your head?
I would.
Because is it a look thing?
Well, no, because it's cloudy, but there's just enough sun peeking through it, just the wrong angle sometimes. So we'll get the pitch and I'll continue. Wisniewski's first pitch to Gorski, swung on and missed 0-1. I didn't have them fall off every time I moved in the outfield, but I would rather have them on my head in case I need them, in case the sun decides to peek out. But it's not sunny enough to need to wear them right now. You don't really want them in your back pocket in case you have to dive or slide.
Well, I will say this. I mean, as somebody that never wore a hat in the field, I was always wearing a catcher's mask. I certainly didn't catch with sunglasses on. However, we can continue after this pitch here.
Wisniewski's 0-1. It's a fastball and misses up 1-1.
I think it's interesting just because the style has changed also. And like since when we played, like short hair was the common thing back when I played. Well, now kids can't even put their hat fully on their head because they got so much lettuce flowing out the back. I couldn't grow it if I wanted to. But
shout out to your barber, by the way.
Thank you. Shout out to Mike.
Thank you, Mike, for making Nick look good for radio. 2-1 now as Gorski takes a fastball up and out.
No, but I think they got so much flow, and that's such a popular thing that they can't put their hats on.
2-1, ripped to right field on a line, but it's sinking. The wind knocked that one down a little bit. 2-E to make the catch is Nolan Duzick. He's not in the lineup. He's getting DH for today, but he does his job with the lever. 8-0 Malcolm through 3 innings. Clippers have their fourth chance at the plate after this on 93.7 The Ticket.
Tailored Landscapes is actively preparing for spring. Things like new tree orders, getting equipment ready, and training staff to serve you the best they can. If you haven't already planned, now is the perfect time to figure out a maintenance plan for your yard. Tailored Landscapes is on the brink of spring cleanups for all their existing customers, and they have limited spots available. They trim trees and shrubs when needed and only mulch proper amounts. Give Tailored Landscapes a call at 402-432-2572 to set up a meeting with one of their designers and stop by the Tailored Life store in Bennett.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor. Because my mom wore her seatbelt that day, I get to hug her when I go home. And then it clicked. Because I wore my seatbelt, I learned that one moment in time can change a person's life forever.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
The day we were hit was the second to last day of our high school careers.
We were about to graduate as best friends together.
And then it clicked. Because we wore our seatbelt that day, we still get to experience life together.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Back to the 2025 State Baseball Tournament on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
It's 8-0 Malcolm here at Warner Park in the Class C Baseball State Championship game. I'm Austin Norman, Nick Sainert alongside. There's that sun I was talking about. This is why you keep your sunglasses on your general person. I think you'd rather have them than have to bend over to pick them up rather than need to run back to the dugout to grab them. For Malcolm, it'll be Garrett England, Justin Wisniewski, and Cole Tiedemann. England is the only Malcolm player who has not reached base yet today. He led off the third by striking out, but Malcolm put up a 4 spot in spite of it. England takes a strike from Vakiner on a fastball. It's 0-1. Lefty-lefty matchup. That one chopped up the middle, stabbed at by Vakiner. He brings it home. He'll jog a couple steps and flip it to Rule at first, 1 away.
I think you look here, if you're Central City Centura, you say, okay, what can we do that we have not been able to do consistently these first 3 innings? Obviously, the low-hanging fruit response is let's hold Malcolm scoreless, right? But I think ultimately Malcolm sent 9 hitters to the plate in 2 of the 3 innings already. I mean, it's a situation of try to get a 3-up, 3-down inning, get your guys' back up in the box, and get the bats in your hands and see if you can make some good things happen, but it's got to start here defensively. A good job by Vakiner getting the leadoff ground out.
And he now evens up. No, that one taken for a ball. It's now 2-0 to Justin Wisniewski. In the second inning, McGreer led off with a single. Brixenmeyer bunted him to second. Then it was a couple flyouts. So the fewest batters faced in an inning by a Colonel's pitcher has been 4. Wisniewski now ahead in the count 3-0. He has singled and driven in a run. He's walked and scored twice. He takes that 3-0 fastball over the heart of the plate, 3-1. Then if you're Malcolm, Nick, just because you're up 8-0, don't coast. Mm-hmm. You know this Central City team has the keys to beat you. They've done it once before. You feel good up 8-0, but as you said, you got 12 outs. You still got to get defensively. Count's now full as Vakiner snaps off a breaking ball. Here comes the full count pitch. Fastball taken up and a little in. So Wisniewski draws his second walk in as many innings. He's aboard with 1 away for Cole Tiedemann. Tiedemann has an RBI single, a walk, and a run scored. He wears number 17. Boasts a 300 batting average, 18 out of 60 entering the state tournament. Fastball outside from Vakiner, 1-0. Wisniewski, likely not a stolen base threat from Malcolm. He's the designated hitter. Tiedemann plays left field. Waggles the bat in that left-handed batter's box. Takes a fastball that skips in the dirt, 2-0. What do you think Tiedemann's going to play positionally in football at Dordt? DB, running back, slot receiver?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think all three of those. I think all 3 of those are possibilities there.
Vakiner finds the zone with a fastball, 2-1.
Position fluidity there.
I would think so.
From an athleticism standpoint,
I would say that level, the more flexibility you have, the more valuable you are. Tiedemann watches a breaking ball out of the zone, 3-1. It's like Cole Tiedemann is a receiver. 22 catches, 393 yards, at least back in 2023. He draws a walk, so he is aboard for the 3rd time today. Runners on first and second with 1 out for Chase Smith. Smith had a couple extended at-bats, both of which ended in walks for him. He scored a run back in that 3rd inning. Another conversation on the mound. Looks like Vakiner's day will be done on the mound. Jogging in from the dugout for Central City will be number 22, Colbin Peters. Peters doing the designated hitting today for Central City and Centura.
The book is officially closed on Connor Erickson, who is Central City's starting pitcher. He goes 2 1/3 inning. It's not pretty, unfortunately. He allowed 5 hits in his 2 1/3 innings of work. He walked 6 Clippers, struck out just 2, 7 runs allowed, 6 of them earned.
So Peters relieves Vakiner. Both these guys that Central City Centura has thrown out here, Nick, after Erickson have been sophomores. Vakiner entered with an ERA of 3, Peters a 1.08, also 2 saves on the year. And I think that aspect's going to be something to monitor for Central City Centura here today. You know, can these young guys in key spots help contribute to a comeback? Mm-hmm. But also, how do you learn and grow from this? You're down 8-0. You're playing the best program in the state at the Class C level at the very least with what Malcolm's been able to do. Still a long way to go, but how Central City Centura responds in this game and then the offseason, I think is going to tell you a lot about the makeup of these sophomores.
Yeah, very much so. I think when you look at Central City Centura, year 2 of being a co-op, right? And so very early in this process, I think, though, as Coach Detlefson said, can't really tell that this team features kids that go to school 40 minutes apart from each other. Mm-hmm. But ultimately, it's when the bullets are flying on the biggest stage, how do you respond? And sometimes you just need younger guys to step up and do something maybe that they haven't done all season long. Get comfortable in an uncomfortable situation. I can kind of promise you that you're playing on the biggest stage possible right now, and being down 8-0 is not comfortable.
It is not, but it is the situation that the Colonels find themselves in. Malcolm's got runners at first and second with one away. Here's 8-hole batter Chase Smith. He takes a fastball from Peters for a strike, 0-1. Vakiner moves back to right field, by the way. That's where he began the day. Whoever that was in right field, I did not see jog in or jog by, but their day is likely done. Peters, slow kick and delivery. Fastball fired in with a swinging strike, 0-2. So Colbin Peters coming in, filling up the strike zone, just what Central City Centura wanted to see. The 0-2 from Peters to Smith. Taken chin high for a ball, 1-2.
So Vakiner in relief walked 5 guys. He's still responsible, obviously, for Wisniewski and Tiedemann that are out there on first and second base. So the book not fully closed on him on the mound.
Peters ahead in the count, 1-2. Breaking ball in the dirt, now 2-2. On the day for Malcolm, there was 1 walk drawn in the first inning, none in the second, then a string of 6 consecutive walks across Erickson and Vakiner in the third, and now 2 more here in the fourth.
Yeah, I misspoke earlier on Erickson's walk total. He had 4 walks, not 6 of them, so I misspoke earlier on that. Still not great, but not as bad.
It's the moral victory.
Yeah,
sometimes.
right.
Still fighting for an actual victory on the field. This one's not over yet. Neither is this at bat. Chase Smith has fought back to have a full count. Watches that one in the dirt. Another free pass. 3 walks in a row again drawn by Malcolm, and the bases are loaded with 1 out for the bottom of the order. Catcher Preston Kutra. Just as soon as I praised Colbin Peters for coming in and throwing strikes, I invoked the announcer's jinx. The body language from the pitchers for the Colonels has not been great. When you're struggling to throw strikes, it's understandable. But there's not exactly a rush to get back on the mound to get that ball back.
No, just not able to get a feel for anything right now. We talked about it throughout this last week or so. Obviously started calling state title or state championship baseball last Friday, but when you got to be able to control and command 1 pitch in the zone, and if you can struggle even if you only have your fastball, but when you don't even have that pitch in your arsenal or in your back pocket to always go back to, it makes it really, really tough, as we're seeing for Central City here.
2-0 now. Peters brings it home to Kutra, who swings through that one, 2-1.
Surprised to see him swing there. I like the aggressive approach, and we saw a guy swing earlier this game in 3-0 count for Malcolm. However, I mean, there was a strand of 6 consecutive balls, and you've had the last 3 guys reach via a walk.
And now a bunt attempt rolls foul down the first baseline. It's 2-2. It's knowing who you are as a hitter. It's knowing situation, time, score, not time necessarily, but situation, score. What is my job? What's the next right thing for me to do? 2-2 now as Peters and Kutra battle. Righty-righty matchup. This is the first right-handed thrower of the day for the Colonels. Corners in, middle infield, double play depth with bases full of Clippers and 1 out. Kutra stays alive, fouls that one back to the netting. Still 2-2. A lot of eye black in this game. A lot of long hair, like Nick was saying, most of it blonde. Kutra skies that one on the infield. Needs some talk here. Rule's going to take charge. He grabs it in fair territory. There's the second out of the inning. Good communication over there at first base by Rule, Nick. He had probably had the easiest play, get your pitcher out of the way and talk to the catcher as well.
Yeah, you're right. Now, if you are guy on the mound in number 22, Colvin Peters for Central City Centura, one pitch away, one out away from getting out of this. Infield's going to be playing deep. Take it to the easiest bag and get out of the inning.
Won't be an easy task to get out of the inning, though, for Peters, who's facing Logan McGreer, who this season has a batting average of .457, and he has not been retired today. A double, a single, and a walk. Breaking ball laced up the middle. There comes run number 9. Run number 10 being waved around third. It crosses the plate. So Malcolm now leads it 10-0. And if this score holds after 2 more chances at bat for Central City Centura, season could be over.
This is how I know, guys, for Central City Centura, and I'm not blaming them because it's very difficult to do, but you got to stay locked in how you're not mentally engaged. The pitcher on that play, Colvin Peters, he used himself as the cutoff guy. The first baseman on a cut 4 play, first baseman needs to be running over into the center of the pitcher's mound and be lined up by his catcher. That time the pitcher, Peters, was the one. He just stayed still on the pitcher's mound. Normally he's got to get his butt behind home plate, back up a potential throw home, let your first baseman be the cutoff guy. Not a whole lot of movement defensively there for Central City Centura. Guys starting to not stay engaged. It's difficult to do when you're down 10-0. But at the end of the day, you got to do it.
Brixton Meyer took a fastball for a strike. Now he watches one for a ball. It's 1-1. Can't go through the motions in a state championship game. So you set the tone for what the rest of today looks like. Can you hold your head high walking out of here? Meyer officially 0 for 0, a couple sack bunts and a walk. He takes a strike. He's now down in the count 1-2. This has been the issue for Central City Centura pitchers, Nick. They've gotten to their fair share of 2 strike counts, but very rarely been able to put Malcolm away. We'll see what Peters goes to here ahead in the count 1-2. He kicks and fires. Breaking ball misses high, 2-2. Waiting on deck for Malcolm, Mason Wisniewski. 1 for 3 with an RBI sacrifice fly today. It's Brixton Meyer's job to get it to him. But Colvin Peters would like to have a say in something otherwise. He swings and misses on that one. Peters dials up the letter high heat, and Myers is retired via the strikeout, but not before the Clippers add 2 more runs to their lead. They lead the Class C Baseball State Championship game 10-0 as we head to the bottom of the 4th on 93.7 The Ticket.
Jumpstart your summer to the max. Walk into any Max Tan in Lincoln and get a $5 standing tan session or a $5 red light wellness booth session. Your summer tan starts today with $5 sessions at Max Tan with 3 Lincoln locations.
Support Matt Talbot Kitchen and Outreach on Give to Lincoln Day. Your gift will be received by a portion of Lincoln Community Foundation's matching fund. Homelessness is a complex problem facing our community. By working together, we can find solutions. Your donation for Give to Lincoln Day moves us closer to ensuring that everyone in Lincoln has a safe place to sleep at night. Because of your generosity, hope lives here. Give anytime through May 29th at givetolincoln.com.
Back to the 2025 State Baseball Tournament on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
10-0. Malcolm leads Central City Centura in the bottom of the 4th. I'm Austin Norman. He is Nick Sainert, and we are grateful for you. Thanks for listening to our coverage here of Class A, B, and now Class C State Baseball here on 93.7 The Ticket. Got a great rundown of sponsors who are helping make this possible as well. So big shout out, big thank you to them. Big thank you to Harrison and Jackson running the board, making sure that we are on air. And Bach, he's out of town. He probably won't be hearing this. If Bach is listening to us from wherever in the world he is.
Philippines.
That would be impressive dedication. But here's the thing. If you decide to go to the Philippines, Thailand, Japan, India, Germany, I don't know, Canada,
anywhere,
you can still listen to us worldwide for free on our mobile app for your phone. Highly recommend it.
I'll be listening from Canada later this year.
That's right. You're going fishing.
Fishing, golfing. Yeah, probably more golfing than fishing, which is it's probably an issue. It's probably not a good thing that I'm going up to Canada to golf, but it is what it is.
See the world, see the courses.
I'll be flying into Jay Foreman territory in Buffalo.
Oh, watch out.
So, you fly into
Don't
Buffalo.
tell Jay that. He'll warn people and won't let you off the tarmac.
I know. Fly into Buffalo, drive across the border.
Wisniewski ahead of Colton Luters 0-2. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. A 3-pitch strikeout for Wisniewski to start the home half of the fourth.
The book is closed. While we have a second, the book is closed on Luke Vakiner for Central City. He goes 1 inning in relief, does not strike out any Clippers, has 5 walks, does not allow a hit, but 3 earned runs.
Here's Hayden Murphy for the Colonels. Lefty batter playing center field today. Takes that one up and out, 1-0. 10 runs on 5 hits for Malcolm. Difficult to do. No runs on 2 hits for Central City Centura. Murphy awaits the 1-0, swings through it, 1-1. Murphy today popped out to third. Just his second at bat. Wisniewski set at the belt. He's ready to bring it home. High leg kick, misses low, 2-1. After this game, we'll have a little bit of the captain show for you. Maybe a little bit of on the block for 15, 20 minutes before the Class B state championship game. Here's Wisniewski, 2-1 count. He'll bring it home. Fastball low and in, 3-1. It's the first time, Nick, it looked like Wisniewski really overthrew and yanked one.
Yeah, I agree. It's been a pretty low pressure day, which you can't say that very often in a state championship performance. Low pressure performance, low pressure needs for Mason Wisniewski on the mound. He got a 4 spot in his favor in the top of the first inning and hasn't looked back.
Gets a swinging strike on 3-1, so now it's a 3-2 full count to Hayden Murphy. We talked about Malcolm's dominance in Class C since it resumed. They went 4-0 on their way to the state championship in 2023. They went 4-0, including a 4-2 win over the Central City Centura team in Game 3 last year. Wisniewski issues a free pass to Murphy. Good at bat from him. He'll be aboard with a 1-out walk. That's the second free pass of the day. Freeze walked last inning. That was also with 1 out. Here comes Colton Peters, started the day out as the designated hitter. He's now on the bump for the Colonels. He struck out back in the second inning. Wisniewski brings it home to him. Front door breaking ball and a beauty, 0-1.
It's unfortunate for Central City Centura. You look at the game book here, and it's such a contrast of sides when you look at Central City compared to Malcolm. Malcolm, you have guys that have already had 4 ABs in 4 innings. And then Central City, you have just going through the lineup for the second time today. It's unfortunate for Central City, just hasn't been able to get a whole lot going.
They had runners on second and third, bases loaded rather, back in the first, and were unable to capitalize. As Wisniewski throws a chase pitch that Peters doesn't take the bait on, 1-2. How many times have we seen that at this very park? A team gets the bases loaded, unable to capitalize, and then can't get something going after that.
But 9 times out of 10, it's going to probably be somebody that's lower in your order, right?
Peters goes down on strikes. Breaking ball made him buckle. There's the second strikeout of the inning for Mason Wisniewski. Now 2 away for Luke Vakiner.
But like I was saying, most of the time that's going to be your guys that are in the top towards the middle part of your lineup are going to be able to get on base somewhat consistently. And then you need somebody from that 6 through 9 spot to be able to drive them in or do their job. And Central City Centura just hasn't been able to get that or generate that from your lower half.
Vakiner takes the first pitch outside, 1-0. He started in right field, came in to pitch. Nick just gave you his final line. He's been stronger on the mound than he has in the batter's box. His ERA this year, just 1.75 with a 6-0 record. His batting average, .255, not bad. But he bats 8th here in this Colonels lineup. You watch that one sail outside as well, 2-0. Wisniewski very consistent how he comes out with a runner on base or bases empty. He missed for a 3rd time in a row, that time low and in, yanked it 3-0.
Which that was a point I was making earlier. It's interesting when guys, what they're more comfortable with, and obviously trying to be comfortable on the mound and get into a rhythm is one thing, but doing too much also at times can hurt you and have a reverse effect as the 3-0 pitch is on the way and it's a strike. But what I'm getting at is you'll see a guy have to throw from the stretch if runners are on first and second base, or even if a runner's on first base, and those can be prolonged innings. Mm-hmm. But then as soon as a guy gets on third and the bases are loaded,
the runner goes. There's a called strike to Vakiner on 3-1. He protests with the home plate umpire, but to no avail.
But what I was saying is, you get into some sort of a groove, or you at least throw, close to 20 pitches in a row from the stretch, and then from the windup you switch, and it's an abrupt change. It's not a massive change, but it's something different. And pitchers are creatures of habit, especially at this level, which isn't always a good thing.
Wisniewski misses outside, so Vakiner draws the second walk of the inning. 2 on and 2 out for the bottom of the order. Here's Parker Zickman. Zickman's the second baseman today. 250 batting average, 12 of 48 coming into the state tournament. And ideally for a pitcher, out of your windup or your stretch, you get to the same spot. It's got to be repeatable. Mm-hmm. How do you get your biomechanics in sync to get to the same spot regardless of where you start? Zickman is reaching out for that one. All he can do is foul it off 0-1. The other part about it, Nick, is a lot of high school guys with the extra step in their windup will often see their fastball velocity go up just a little bit. Where you see Wisniewski, he's been pretty consistent. Again, not overpowering, but consistent with where his fastball velocity at least has seemed today. There's a perfectly located fastball in the outer part, 0-2. So Mason Wisniewski, 1 strike away from stranding 2 batters. Can Parker Zickman keep the at-bat alive? Wisniewski set. He's ready to bring home the 0-2. He kicks and deals. Breaking ball chopped back to Wisniewski. He gloves it, jogs it over to first base. Calm, cool, and collected. We're through 4 innings. Malcolm leads Central City Centura 10-0 in the Class C state title game here on 93.7 The Ticket.
There are great Mexican restaurants all over town, but there is one that is especially worth the drive from any part of town. Tacos Los Hermanos at 70th and Havelock. Cool off this summer with a delicious horchata or other special drinks, and grab one of their famous taco boxes for a group of friends or coworkers to enjoy, full of birria tacos and many other options. Don't forget their great desserts like tres leches, flan, and cheesecake. Get to Tacos Los Hermanos for lunch or dinner today at 70th and Havelock in Lincoln. The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Back to the 2025 State Baseball Tournament on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
It's 10-0 Malcolm. Austin Norman, Nick Sainert with you here as we enter the 5th inning. Malcolm just 3 outs on defense away if they can keep the Colonels off the scoreboard from three-peating. To bring you the Clippers visiting half of the 5th inning, Mr. Nick Sainert.
Thank you, Austin. It's a busy day on the diamond. We talked about it. Obviously, Class C, B, and A, state championship baseball. Nebraska softball will be competing in the super regionals down in Knoxville, Tennessee against the Lady Vols down there. And then Husker baseball later tonight at 6 p.m. Stepping into the box first, it's going to be Mason Wisniewski. Wisniewski is 1 for 2 today. He had a sacrifice fly his last time up in the 3rd inning out to the right fielder. He hit it well. It just held up in the wind as he takes ball 1 up and in, 1-0. Austin, speaking of Husker baseball, I saw this memory today that back on this day in 2015, Nebraska baseball was getting ready to play 5-seeded Illinois up at the at Target Field in Minneapolis as the 1-1 pitch is low out of the zone, 2-1. And I screenshotted the 2015 Nebraska baseball starting lineup.
Oh, boy.
How confident are you that you can name a couple of the guys that were in the starting lineup ahead of Nebraska's first-round matchup? It's 3-1, by the way.
A couple of them, maybe. Was your boy Jake Schleppenbach around?
He was not. He was not in the starting lineup.
Okay.
as it's a 5-pitch walk to Mason Wisniewski to start us off.
Was that Tanner Lubach territory?
Tanner Lubach was hitting third in the lineup.
Okay.
I feel like once you get a couple of these guys, you'll kind of get into the mode of, okay, you kind of have an idea of the team and some of the familiar names.
So Lubach, was he catching or DH?
He was catching. He was behind the dish. I can give you the starting pitcher. It was Chance Sinclair.
He
started on the bump for the Huskers.
Okay. That would have been right before Schreiber wasn't in the lineup, was he?
Schreiber was at first base.
Was it first? Okay, I got to trust myself. Was there a Ben Miller sighting in that lineup?
That
Right
was
field?
the designated
DH?
hitter.
Okay.
Nice job.
Schreiber, Miller, Lubach.
A lot of guys.
Ryan Bolt.
Ryan Bolt was leading off
Leading
in center
off in
field.
center. Gosh, Ryan Bolt. I'm so glad he stuck around.
Future Tampa Bay Rays draft pick.
Indeed. Okay, so Bolt in center, Schreiber at first, Miller DHing, Lubach catching. Trying to think.
Doing a good job so far. It's
not bad.
Carson Frank is up to bat for Malcolm right now. He has an 0-2 count against him. Runner at first base is Mason Wisniewski. Here's the 0-2. It's a soft chopper, left side, but foul.
So it's probably pre-Angelo Altavilla, unless he was playing
That is
young.
correct. Pre-Angelo Altavilla.
Okay.
This is
definitely in your wheelhouse. This is right before I really got into Husker baseball.
A couple of the other names on here. He was a two-way player for Nebraska. 0-2 pitch is to the backstop, and the runner will advance to second base. Nice job there.
Myers?
Jake Myers is on there. There's also another two-way player on this team that was starting in left field for the Huskers that day. It's a 1-2 count on Carson Frank as here in the Class C title game.
I got nothing. I'll call it quits there.
Luis Alvarado.
Alvarado. Yeah.
Future Los Angeles Angels pick, as this one's hammered out to center field, and it will be a base hit for Carson Frank with nobody out, and Malcolm back in business here in the top of the fifth inning as they have runners on the corners. A couple of the other names that were sticking out to me. Jake Plotzek.
Okay.
He got the start at second base. He originally was a third baseman, if I remember correctly, for Nebraska.
Sounds right to me.
But he got the start at second base. The guy that was starting at third base this day went on to be selected by the Chicago Cubs. I want to say, no, in the 19th round. Blake Headley.
Yeah.
As Garrett Englund swings at the first pitch, skies it high and stays in the infield. The first baseman ranges over, and Rule is able there to make it for out number one.
Blake Headley was a stud in college.
He was.
Where's Cody Ashe right now?
He's I know this. I believe he's the hitting coach for the Baltimore Orioles.
Correct. Well done.
I thought it was. I saw him make that move. He obviously a longtime player for the Philadelphia Phillies.
Mm-hmm.
Cody Ashe. Here's the first pitch of the at-bat to Justin Wisniewski, as that one's in the dirt for a ball 1-0.
I don't know if I've ever gotten your opinion on this while we have a moment. Are you a stirrups and short pants guy or long pants guy?
Long pants.
Long
pants. I like the look of the stirrups. However, as the runner from first goes, they're going to go and allow him to stroll into second without a throw. And so advancing to second is Carson Frank there. So now runners at second and third. It was a called strike, though. So 1 ball, 1 strike to Justin Wisniewski.
I don't even love the look. They're okay. There's some strip looks that are better than others, but I just hated wearing them.
I could never get them to stay tight, if that makes sense.
Yep.
To where they didn't start bunching up, and that's one of the worst things.
And if you're going to wear stirrups, you can't do the fake ones,
Yeah.
right? You got to do it right. You got to
Yeah.
do the white sock and then the actual stirrup, but just too much.
The 1-2 pitch to Wisniewski is low out of the zone, 2-2. I think also, there's something to be said that I was never. I pride myself on this. I was never a knee savers guy either with my catcher
Good.
gear, and I'm always glad to see that there are some catchers that don't use them. You can never get low enough. Also
why?
It's just part of it.
Weight room.
Yeah, right. Part of it.
Stand up, shake it out.
Let those hip flexors stretch out a little bit. The 3-2 pitch to Justin Wisniewski is low and away for a ball. And so now the bases are loaded with 1 out here in the top of the 5th inning for the Malcolm Clippers, who, by the way, if Malcolm can hold on and keep the Colonels at a 10 or more run deficit, then this one's going to be over early. Out of the windup now, it's Peters as he throws in a first pitch strike to Cole Tiedemann. Tiedemann on the day is 1 for 1. He has 2 walks on the day as well. Hit an RBI single back in the first inning. Here's the pitch. Swung on, fouled back, left side. Watch out for those on the party porch. That's where we've broadcasted before, is up there on the party porch, and I would have had an opportunity to grab that foul ball, but we're in a booth up here at Warner Park. The 0-2 pitch swung on and missed, and Colbin gets Tiedemann down on strikes, and that's out number 2. So now that brings up the second baseman, number 8 for the Malcolm Clippers. It's Chase Smith, the right-handed hitter. Here's the first pitch of the at-bat. Swinging. The pop-up behind home plate. I think it's going to stay in play, but the catcher, it looks like he might have gotten bumped by the net, and the home plate umpire is signaling to the Central City bench to come on over. He didn't realize, I think, that the net was where it was, and he went face first into the net. The Central City catcher, Looters.
It didn't look bad. It just looked like exactly what you were saying. It surprised him. Didn't look like he got his knee caught, didn't get his cleat caught or ankle or anything like that. Maybe got the wind knocked out of him if he hit that padding, top of the padding at the wrong angle.
So no balls, 1 strike is the count. There.
And here's a little thing, too. Best player on your team, Jake Rule, made the run down the baseline. Yeah, that's good leadership. Just a little thing that goes a long way in a lot of cases.
Looks to be okay. Looters behind the dish. And so we're ready to continue playing here in just a second.
Last question on the catcher's gear, 1-piece or 2-piece mask?
So I think I was always a 1. If I could go back and do it differently, I would become more comfortable with the 2. Always a 1. I looking back, I should have been a 2.
I know for a while in some youth leagues, the 1-piece were the rule.
Yeah, that's right. No balls, 1 strike. Here's the pitch to Chase Smith on the way, and it's low and away for a ball, 1-1.
Peters has missed closer than his 2 previous counterparts did. Erickson and Vakiner were all over the place. Peters, despite bases loaded, seems like he settled in. He's missing much closer now.
This one on 1-1 is fouled back, and it's 1-2. And so now if you're Colbin Peters, you're 1 pitch away from putting up a 0 and leaving the bases loaded full of Clippers. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Outside, 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the top of the 5th inning. The pitch is in there for a called strike 3. They'll step on home plate. You don't even need to worry about throwing down to first. Young man steps on home plate to complete the drop 3rd strike. And that is out number 3 here in the top of the 5th inning. No runs. They leave them loaded. The Clippers of Malcolm do here in the bottom of the 5th inning. It's essentially the last chance for the Central City Centura Colonels as they trail 10-0 here in the Class C state championship game on 93.7 The Ticket.
I got to see my brother get married.
I would have missed my dad's birthday.
Because I wore my seatbelt, I had the privilege of being part of his special day.
I got to go home and see my family again.
Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
I was able to go to my brother's graduation.
I wouldn't have adopted my first pet.
And then it clicked. My seatbelt saved my life. Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
At Raising Cane's, we focus on being the best at one thing and getting it right every time. Which is why every chicken finger meal we serve is marinated, hand-battered, cooked to order, and made just for you. Quality isn't complicated, and our menu is proof.
Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
Skip the line and order with our app or online.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Back to the 2025 State Baseball Tournament on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Before we go into the bottom of the fifth inning, I want to thank all of our partners, Game Day Men's Health, Raising Cane's, the NDOT Highway Safety Office, Max Tan, Doane University, and Matt Talbot Kitchen and Outreach for their support of high school sports on 93.7 The Ticket, making these high school baseball broadcasts possible. As the first pitch in the bottom of the fifth inning to Connor Erickson is in there for a strike. It's the first three hitters in the Central City Centura lineup, 1, 2, and 3 due up. Erickson swings and misses at a strike across the outside part of the plate. It's 0-2 now. Mason Wisniewski still on the mound. No runs, just 2 hits allowed on the day for Wisniewski. The 0-2 offering. Swung on and missed. That's one down here in the bottom of the fifth inning. And Malcolm 2 outs away from three-peating as Class C state champions. So now that brings up the shortstop for Central City Centura, number 17, Barrett Freeze. Freeze 0 for 1 today. He struck out swinging back in the first. He walked back in the third. The first pitch is a ball upstairs, 1-0.
Do you think he gets the call if he squeezes it?
Yes.
I thought the same.
1 ball, no strikes, 1 out in the bottom of the fifth inning. Colonels of Central City Centura need 1 run to keep this one alive. Here's the 1-0 offering in the dirt, 2-0.
If you're Central City, we've talked about the body language. We've talked about there have been moments where it looks like they're going through the motions. If you're going to lock in, do it now. Just give yourself a fighting chance. That's one of the things we love about baseball is it's not over until it's over. So if you're Freeze, if you're Rule, it's okay to be patient. It's okay to take your walks if Wisniewski is going to continue to be wild as he falls behind 3-0. Just give yourself a chance. At this point, it's all you can ask for.
Wisniewski with 3 walks on the day, make it 4, as now he walks for Barrett Freeze with 1 out in the inning. So now that'll bring up Jacob Rule. Rule, the senior, 365 hitter on the season. He is 0 for 2 today. He reached on an error back in the first by the shortstop. It was a ground ball, fairly routine to the second baseman, and then made a nice throw over to second base to try to start a double play, but then the shortstop dropped it. Here's the pitch to Rule. Swung on, hit high, left side. I think this one's going to reach the seats, and it will, as it bounces on top of the third base dugout. 0-1. I will say Wisniewski, as we have alluded to multiple times, doesn't have overpowering stuff, but has done a really nice job of keeping Central City Centura Colonel hitters off balance. And we're seeing it with one of their best hitters in Jacob Rule. He's been off balance the entire day, late on fastballs. Hasn't been able to time up the off speed either. The 0-1 is, we're going to have a pick over to first base back in plenty of time as there was a little bit of an inaccurate throw, was Barrett Freeze over there. Jacob Rule up to the plate right now, and Gorski is on deck for Central City Centura as this one on 0-1 is up and away, way out of the zone, 1-1. Just past the 2 o'clock hour here at Warner Park. Our next game will start around 3:30 p.m. or so with Class B action between Gretna East and Bennington. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Swung on, grounder up the middle. It's fielded by the shortstop. This could do it. There's 1, there's 2, and there it is. The three-peat is complete as the Malcolm Clippers are able to dominate on Friday morning, and they are, for the 3rd straight year, your Class C state champions. They win it by a score of 10-0 on a game-ending double play that was fielded by the shortstop right to the left of the second base bag. He stepped on the bag for 1, fired it to the first base side for 2, And there it is, your Malcolm Clippers, 10-0. They knock off Central City Centura for their third straight Class C state championship.
I think we got a backflip in celebration out of, that was either Carson Frank or Cole Tiedemann. Either way, Nick, it's hard to tell who the stars of this game were for Malcolm. It was pretty much everyone. From the get-go, dominating fashion, 10-0 is what it is, but it started in the first with the Clippers batting around, putting 4 early runs on the board, and then Wisniewski comes in, gets into trouble in the first. The bases were loaded against him, but he found a way to bear down against the bottom part of that Central City order, and that really slammed the door on much of the conversation, right? Because Malcolm would put up 4 more in the third inning. Central City, an unfitting end for the season they had, just their second loss of the year. An incredible run comes to an end for them. But again, second year of a co-op to be in a state championship game. You went up against the measuring stick in Class C. Now you know what it takes. You know the level that you have to play at, the level you have to be able to find to number one, be more competitive, or number two, try to be the team that gets back here next year and knocks the Clippers off the pedestal for the first time since Class C state baseball returned to Nebraska.
The Malcolm Clippers dogpiled to the third base side of the pitcher's mound, and they are your 2025 Class C state champions. And like Austin just mentioned, just a really unfortunate day for Central City Centura. You had it where after giving up and surrendering those 4 runs in the top of the first inning to Malcolm, it looked like Central City was going to bounce back okay. You load the bases on your own in the bottom half of the first inning, just couldn't get guys in, and that was, although it was early, they didn't need to get all 4 there. We talked about that in the moment. They didn't need to get all 4 runs back, but the fact that they weren't able to get 1 or 2 runs across the plate, it kind of felt deflating so early in the ball game.
They had 3 base runners there in the first inning, and then only another 4 the rest of the game.
Yeah.
It would have been a tall task to get 4 runs back at once against a pitcher like Wisniewski, but it was Hayden Murphy in the 6 hole that ended up popping out to third to quell that rally in the first. Then it was 3 up, 3 down in the second, a 1-out walk, and 2-out single then in the fourth, and then the 1-out walk that ends up in the double play in the fifth. So credit to Wisniewski for keeping Central City Centura off the board, off balance all day long. But that's where, when you get an opportunity in high school baseball, you've got to do your best to maximize it every single time, because especially in a game like this against a pitcher like that, you weren't sure how many other opportunities you were going to have.
Your final score, one last time, from the Class C state championship game. Malcolm wins 10-0 to complete the three-peat. They have won the last 3 state championships. Your final line on Mason Wisniewski, the winning pitcher in this one for the Malcolm Clippers. He goes 5 innings, 6 strikeouts, 4 walks, allows 2 hits, and no earned runs. In the loss, it was Connor Erickson on the mound, 2 1/3, 5 hits allowed, 4 walks, 2 strikeouts, 7 runs, 6 of them came earned on the day for the Central City Centura starter. But once again, most importantly, Malcolm, they're your 2025 Class C state champions with a 10-0 win over Central City Centura. Make sure you join us at 3:30 p.m. as we get ready for Class B action coming up. And it's 2 teams that have played their fair share of baseball the last couple of days. In the Gretna East Griffins up against the Bennington Badgers. That one at 3:30. We'll tell you all about those 2 teams when we come back in about an hour and 15 minutes, and that leads into the nightcap, but in Class A action between number 1 Lincoln East and number 7 seed Millard North. But don't be so distracted and caught up in that 7 seed, because Millard North's a dangerous, dangerous team, and that's going to be a good one against the Spartans here later on tonight at Warner Park. Your one final time, the Malcolm Clippers, your Class C state champions. We'll send it back to our 93.7 The Ticket Studios. For one last time, Austin Norman, Nick Sanders saying so long for now. We'll talk to you ahead of the Class B state championship here on 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza, the big one, all the time.